Thank you, Your Excellencies, dear Mr. Podesta, colleagues and friends. Do you know what the most beautiful word I know is? It's baseload. Fossil-free baseload. And I would say that, many of you have struggled with the million-dollar question, can you have high-set climate targets and at the same time pave way for economic growth, for fair job opportunities for your citizens, and a strong welfare? And the Swedish answer to that is yes, but that involves baseload. And I would like to thank you all for being here, following up on the tripling nuclear declaration. It was a great moment in Dubai during the COP28, and our joint declaration was historic, but perhaps not surprising. More and more governments and citizens have realized the necessity of building competitiveness and economic growth on zero-emission technologies, with nuclear as a necessary component. A switch from fossil fuels to electrification and fossil-free energy is vital, not only for mitigating climate change and building competitiveness, it is also equally important for supporting energy security as we cut import dependencies from unfriendly states. I woke up this morning to yet another text message from my dear energy minister colleague in Ukraine, Herman Galoshenko, just yet another reminder of what's at stake when we build our value chains. But we governments cannot stop at declarations. Tripling the nuclear capacity globally means we have to act. We must walk the talk and address the challenges for new nuclear, not least the financial ones. And hence, I'm very happy to see all the money represented in the room. And to put some money behind all of that talking and turning that talking into walking. So I would just like to give you a swift as I can update from Sweden. And you know, Swedes are, we're not known for bragging, and so maybe it doesn't fit the profile, but I've maybe less humbly said that I'm on a global mission to take politics out of energy policy and put physics back in. And because, it doesn't matter how grand political speeches I give, how optimistic I sound in political debates, or how much of that political willpower that I muster up, I will never, ever be able to override the basic components when it comes to physics and a functioning energy system. You need to know that there's a difference between asynchronous and synchronous power production. You need to know that there are very different qualities when it comes to intermittent power production and that fossil-free baseload. And believe me, Sweden knows that lesson because we've pushed 13,000 megawatts of new renewable power production, intermittent power production into our energy system, but we can only consume the same amount of power today as we did 10 years ago. Then you do the math. There's a difference between terawatt and terawatt hours. And believe me, there has been a lot of politicians out there who has not known the difference. And a lot of investors, I would say, who have not known the difference. And they will learn that lesson hard in the years to come. So our government has systematically targeted all regulatory and financial challenges for new nuclear. Our objective is to double Sweden's total electricity production by 2045 with fossil-free production only. And mind you, all our electricity is already fossil-free in Sweden, which gives our industry a competitive edge, and we are determined to maintain this edge. By 2035, Sweden should have 2,500 megawatt new nuclear production, and by 2045, we should have new nuclear production capacity corresponding to 10 new large reactors or corresponding capacity from SMRs. But as you all know, that depends on where it's placed in the system and close to base and close to load and so forth. As for financing, we are now analyzing a concrete proposal recently developed by a public inquiry. The proposal consists of 3 essential components. First, cheap state loans to lower the financial cost and reduce the risk. Secondly, an electricity price hedging agreement, or as many of you know, contracts for difference, to provide security for future electricity price development, and third but not least, a risk-sharing mechanism that gives investors a minimum return on equity. And that's what's on the table in Sweden at this very moment. Our intention is to initiate and establish our financial framework that enables industry to invest in new build projects and attract various private investors. And I would not be doing my job as a representative for the Swedish shareholders if I did not say, welcome to Sweden, we're open for business. But in addition, we have initiated public inquiries to bring forward concrete proposals on regulatory issues aiming at simplifying and speeding up licensing procedures. And that's also one of Sweden's main key takeaways for the new European Commission being formed this fall. We need to cut regulatory burden to make it more attractive, and we need to speed up permitting processes. We have also initiated an inquiry on financing of final repository of waste from new reactors. We think this is also very important in terms of public long-term support. And as for international cooperation, we have drastically increased both our bilateral and multilateral cooperation on civil nuclear. Many of the challenges are shared with others and will benefit from cooperation and coordination, which we are seeing not least today. Finally, let me just finish up by returning to the importance of being concrete. There is a global momentum now, and as you heard my dear friend here before me, we have to use this momentum to deliver real new build projects. First movers will be essential, both those building new reactors and those industries requiring fossil-free electricity. Tripling nuclear capacity globally is not a driver itself. Our objective is to create conditions for growing economies and quality of life for our citizens. That is the aim. That is the driver. The green transition is an opportunity if used wisely. The real challenge will come, I would say, if we miss this opportunity and don't deliver. I'm convinced it is possible, and I'm determined to be among the first movers creating conditions for investments needed to deliver a competitive net zero emission economy. And once again, welcome to Sweden.